This is an audio production quick take by Marwak. The content that follows is from the ebook Voiceover on Linux, which explains how to create professional voiceover products using Linux and associated open source software. Today's topic is recognizing waveforms of breaths and clicks. Imagine that you've just finished recording the perfect audio segment. Everything from cadence, emphasis, pronunciation, and enunciation, all the way through to intangible feel. You just nailed it. Then, when listening to the playback, you notice that in your enthusiasm, you had overdone it with some deep breaths and hit some hard consonants a little too emphatically. Sure, you can edit them down, but first you have to find them. Let's examine what these artifacts look like in an audio editor. I've found the waveform view in Audacity to be the most helpful for editing. It readily shows how close your peaks are to 0 dBFS. Against a vertical scale that has a starting line in the vertical middle, at or around -60 dBFS. That's effectively digital silence for humans. Now let's look at a clip of a hypothetical audio script that deliberately contains a couple of tongue clicks and a noticeable breath. The only processing done at this stage is peak normalization and noise removal. This is the slickest thing you've ever seen, and you'll want one. The first problem is with the word slickest. There's a noticeable tongue click in the SL sound, 2 tongue clicks depending on how you count them. I count 2 clicks, one here and one here. You find these by observing the waveform while listening to the audio and noting where the playhead cursor is at the point where you hear each anomaly. It's essential to both listen and observe, and not every waveform that looks like these is a bad artifact. Let's fix these clicks. Remember, in Audacity, zoom in Control-1 and zoom out Control-3 are your friends. Use them liberally as needed. Highlight the most annoying SL click, and take care to highlight the minimum amount needed to mitigate the click. Don't just cut the bad artifact out, especially if it's an integral part of a word, such as a consonant that needs to be enunciated. That would also distort the length of your clip. With the artifact highlighted, bring up the amplify effect. We'll use that to reduce the level of the artifact to the point that it is not noticeable. For something that stands out as much as this artifact, I reduced the level by 5 dB to start with. Now let's get to the click preceding that one, which sounds sort of like a slur as well as a click. Once again, the amplify effect and a reduction of 5 dB should be sufficient to make this artifact unnoticeable. Reducing the letter K click might be a judgment call. That consonant is hit too hard in my opinion, so let's apply the 5 dB reduction also to the letter K in the word slick. This still leaves a bit of an edge to the letter K, but that can be reduced further at your discretion. Breaths are fairly easy to spot, even without listening to the audio, as they often look like blobs with subtle separation from the audio adjacent to them. Now let's see about the emphatic breath in the clip. It could be deliberate for emphasis, or to convey excited emotion, or it might just be the narrator had to breathe. After all, no breath, no voiceover. Absent any instructions to the contrary, I'd either remove or greatly reduce the level of the breath. If it's reduced only a little, that reduction might be lost from additional normalization or compression in subsequent processing. Let's take the middle ground in this example and apply only a 20 dB reduction in the level of the breath. And here's the final audio result, after loudness normalization. There may be reasons not to, but I probably would hit that letter K with an additional 5 dB reduction. This is the slickest thing you've ever seen, and you'll want one. This has been an audio production quick take by Marwak. For more details on using open source tools for audio processing, see the ebook Voiceover on Linux by Mark Caldwell Walker.